Okay, bear with me. This video is important. I think information needs to be shared for you to know what's happening. So today there was a shocking article that has been released because Global had requested access to information. It took them 2 years to get this information, and it revealed that wine, candy, and room service, how Ottawa spent $170,000 on Canadian ISIS women. So these were Canadian women who then left Canada to join ISIS, got stranded over there because I believe their husbands were killed, and Canada said, oh, sure, you can come back. Do you know what ISIS is? The terrorists, okay? So they bring them back. Federal officials spent at least $170,000 bringing Canadian ISIS women home from Syria, according to the internal government documents that show expenses for ice cream, candy, and wine. The money was for costs incurred when 8 women who had traveled to the Middle East to join the Islamic State returned to Canada with their children in 2022 and 2023. Newly released documents show Global Affairs Canada paid for business class flights, stays at the Montreal Airport Marriott, room service, chips, chocolate bars, and Timbits. One hotel room cost over $1,000 for 2 nights because of a $95 wine tab. Another ran to $850 with charges for junk food and $25 servings of red, white, and sparkling wines. It goes on and on. Why? Number one, this is your taxpayer money, and it's absurd. You know, you have Canadians literally struggling to feed their families, going to the food bank at record numbers, and this is how they're spending their money. Secondly, Global had to request access to information. The government is not being transparent on how they're spending money. And again, we see it linked to terrorist activity. This is a common theme that we're seeing over and over again with the Liberals. But here's another angle that I want to tell you about. For many of you, you may remember I was on the ground when Israel was at war with Iran, when they bombed their nuclear facilities, and the airspace was completely closed down, and 6,000 to 7,000 Canadians were stranded. One of whom was Timothy Payne, who is a Israel hockey player. And this was a guy who couldn't get out because Global Affairs was sending emails saying basically don't call us after 5 p.m. We couldn't get out of Israel. This was the comments that he talked about in his article. Please be aware that at this time, the government of Canada is not facilitating any assisted departures. You should not depend on the government of Canada to help you leave the country. It reads in that part. The message to Canadians caught on the grip of war comes at a time when the U.S. State Department has begun working on a plan to evacuate U.S. citizens from Jerusalem. Germany has been organizing flights for German nationals to leave Israel via Jordan. Timothy Payne, the hockey player, says no such help has been offered by the Canadian Embassy in Tel Aviv. I helped facilitate Tim to get out of Israel. I've been in contact with his mom. You can imagine how devastated, shocked, and just disgusted she is with today's leaked story, because this is how we treat, law-abiding, tax-paying, good Canadians who are not going to join terrorist groups. And you couldn't even help them when they needed help to get out of a country that they were stranded in. And that is literally the role of Global Affairs. You have embassies on the ground in countries around this world that are there to serve Canadians when they need it. And they couldn't even do that. And now you have this. This is the priorities of the Liberal government. Why am I telling you this? Why talk about things that are bad over and over and over again? Because the public's role is to create public pressure. You must demand an apology from the then Minister Melanie Joly. You must demand an apology from Mark Carney. There has to be accountability. There has to be transparency. An apology means nothing if there's no accountability and there's no change that happens as a result of this. This is not okay. The big feedback is, well, they're Canadian. No. Yes, they're Canadian, but they left Canada to go join a terrorist organization. And when that didn't work out for them, shocking, oh no, you can come back. And people, Canadians who are here, paying their taxes, doing the right Canadian thing, are literally going to food banks. And Canadians who are stranded in other countries can't even get anyone from Global Affairs to answer the phone. It's completely wrong, and we have to change course. Politicians have to take accountability, and they have to fix the systems that did this. And if this is an oversight, then fine. But if this is intentional, that is deeply, deeply disturbing.